Listo.
Okay. Okay. Hello, the tutor. I hope you're doing well. We're going to presentation phase 2, practical component educational and pedagogical practice by Beatriz Liliana Ramírez Cortés, Tania Cristina Cárdenas Gómez, Julie Milena Ramírez Sánchez, Carla Maritza Rodríguez Ballesteros, and Laura Valentina Cardona. Well, first, introduction. Virtual learning is a means that connects many people with the opportunities to propose a professional education, replacing face-to-face learning in local universities. It gives many people who do not have access to big cities the chance to study. Thanks for this technology has been become essential as it is the main tool of students to achieve their dreams, meet their needs, and engage in technological and professional exploration. Goals: emphasize English language proficiency among students. Second, create intercultural communication through virtual meeting. Third, motivate the students to participate through initiatives. Fourth, have a knowledge about learning theories. Fifth, search for methodologies and tools to strengthen the students' learning process. Well, methodology, we're going to use that collaborative work, data validation, organization, and observation. Um, who is the
Yes. What is the main problem you observed in the virtual session? In the virtual session, we know that student low participation was evidenced due to their
sorry sorry
limited English knowledge on the topic. What do you like? This makes it difficult for them to understand produce expression about life and preference, which reduces interaction and resulted in minimal contribution from most students. The main problem is the lack of student participation. Next.
yeah. Oh.
Theories. The sociocultural theory emphasizes the role of social interaction and culture in learning, while learning theory focuses on how behaviors are acquired through conditioning. The second one, cognitive theory, focuses on internal mental processes such as perception, memory, and problem solving. We can say that when students participate in debates or write essays that require the formulation of evidence-based arguments, they are actively engaging cognitive processes to construct knowledge. And third, learning theory. It encompasses several approaches to understanding how people learn behaviors through interactions with their environment.
Next. Comparative table. Acá podemos observar tres teorías del aprendizaje. Below we find three chosen theories. Socioculture, linguistics, and learning. Proponen los autores que proponen esta teoría, de Vygotsky, Ferdinand de Saussure, Jean Piaget y Leigh Wachowski. Key conceptos claves: mental functional, phonetics in phonology y kinesthetic. Institutional, his focus on the influences of social and cultural contexts on learning has inspired numerous educational research and practice. Second language acquisition, translation, hearing, speech therapy, automatic language processing. Linguists often work in multidisciplinary teams and research and language policy development. And three, behaviorism wanted to demonstrate that physically was a genuine sense.
What did we learn from this activity? We learned how educational theories help to understand classroom problems such as low participation and poor English proficiency. Among the cognitive, sociocultural, and learning theories, the sociocultural theory seems the most appropriate because it emphasizes interaction, collaboration, and the importance of social context in the learning process. Through activities that promote communication and peer support, students can feel more motivated to participate and gradually improve their language level. From this activity, I gained, we learned a lot of knowledge. First, we observed how a virtual class begins and how different behaviors and group conditioning are managed. We also learn the importance of using the tone of voice to keep students' attention and the types of exercises that can be used in this kind of session. In addition, we learn to recognize the parts of the body and to make a personal description. Who had this problem, all the students or just some? We realized that most of the students in the class were noticeably unengaged. When the teacher asked questions, almost no one participated, so the students remained silent most of the time.
Next.
How do you think this problem affects learning English? Why is it important? This affects the learning process because if they don't speak, they don't participate. It is very difficult for them to learn or improve in the language. So it is important that students develop with that. If they present pronunciation errors, the teacher will correct them. All this in an improvement plan. What could be some causes of the problem? So some causes are shyness when speaking the language, deficiency in the subject, lack of interest, lack of confidence, and learning difficulties. How can we explain this problem using theories? So we got the one for Vygotsky, that is sociocultural theory, lack of confidence and fear of judgment. He highlights the importance of the social environment in learning. In this sense, he refers to the fact that with an environment of support and respect, students can be helped to feel more secure and confident when participating.
Which theory helped you most to understand the problem? The cognitive theory helped us because it explains how we learn through perception and memory. It also teaches us that it's more important to understand and apply what we learn rather than just memorize it. And it highlights that reinforcement and motivation are key to keeping meaningful learning. What do you what do you like or not like about the virtual session of Observed? We think the teacher's participation was very positive because she used different methods to help us learn. However, we noticed that many students didn't participate and had a low level of English. We believe that having more live classes or workshops where students can participate actively would help improve practice, interaction, and make learning easier to evaluate. How can this activity help you as a future teacher? This activity is useful for us as future teacher because it helps us reflect on how to apply teaching theories and address challenges like low participation. It also prepares and us to design dynamic lessons based on student needs. If you could change something in the session, what would you change? How would the theory help you do it? Mm, if we if we could change something, we would add more collaborative activities that encourage students to participate and support each other. This would build their confidence and English practice. The sociocultural theory supports this idea because it shows that learning improves through interaction and collaboration.
Reflection. The learning process we experience as future teachers in training was meaningful and enriching. As we work in groups, remain attentive and willing to actively contribute to the activity. Learning theories are fundamental as they give us in the classroom so that students can learn in the best possible way. It is important to keep in mind that each student has a different learning process. Theories provide us with methods and tools that facilitate their achievement in education objectives. During the work, three learned theories were compared: social cultural theory, cognitive theory, and meaningful learning theory. These theories are related in the way they approach the teaching learning process, highlighting aspects such as social interaction, knowledge construction, and active and didactic learning. In the observant class corresponding to the A2 level of English, the main problem identified was the low oral participation of the students who did not respond in English to the teacher's questions. This situation can be related to various factors, such as a lack of interest in the subject, insecurity, difficulty learning the language, or shyness due to lack of fluency. This situation can be analyzed in light of Vygotsky's sociocultural theory, which highlights the importance of the social environment in learning. According to this theory, a supportive and respectful environment is essential for students to feel more secure and confident when participation. Thus, overcoming fear of judgment and lack of confidence. Conclusion. During the visual session with UNAM students, participation was low due to their limited English knowledge, especially on the topic what do you like? This made it difficult for them to express preference and reduce interaction. Banks of Vygotsky social cultural theory, learning improves when students interact, collaborate, and feel supported in a safe environment. Activities that promote communication and peer support could help gain confidence, participate more actively, and gradually improving their English skills. The teacher uses strategies such as tone and voice and simple exercise to maintain attention, which are found very effective. However, most students avoid speaking for fear of making mistakes, which limiting their progress. For this reason, I believe for more live workshops would be better than seeing many writing tasks, as they provide real opportunities for practice, correction, and the development of greater confidence in the learning process.
Questions. We're going to start with the questions. The first question is what innovative English learning activity would you propose to address the problem? Uh, the second is what digital tools or resource would you use for this activity? And the third, how would you look, I'm sorry, how would you assess the impact of this activity on language learning? Well, I'll start with this with the first. Well, what innovate English learning activity I will I propose to address the problem? I will propose a controversial topic. In this case, for example, I can say some about the climate change. I talk about to climate change, and it next I am propose a question. For example, I say, what do you think about people who say it's not true this topic? And the idea is then start a discussion about that and can choose a different vocabulary and develop the idea about that. And with the discussion, we can to learn not only for the grammar, that is the special in this case, is we can learn and develop your listening and speaking. Um, well, what digital tools? Okay. In the last of the class, the idea is then make then do exam with Kahoot or maybe uh, with a play whole world well and use these tools and for make the evaluation about the topic and the that words that uh, we use it in the class. What digital tools or resource will you use for activity? Principal, Canva, Prezi, WordWall, and Kahoot. It's important present the idea and evaluate that with vocabulary that I propose. How will you assess the impact of this activity on language learning? I evaluate this with a little satisfaction survives last to the class, but if the students understand the class and get it the idea, would be reflect in the quiz about the class. Who is the next? Thank
Okay.
you.
Now I'm going to answer the three questions. So the first one, I would do an activity called likes and dislikes. This activity helps students practice expressing preferences using phrases like I love, I enjoy, or I don't like. First, they watch or read multimedia examples like videos, infographics, or short text that model these expressions. Then each student creates a short digital presentation about their favorite things, covering at least three categories: food, music, movies, and using at least five preferences expressions. Afterward, they shared their presentations view to classmates' post and respond with agreement or disagreement. The activity promotes interaction in a low-pressure environment since students discuss familiar topics already. Question two, for the activity, we would use YouTube for video examples about tastes and preferences. Also, for creating digital presentations, we could use Canva, Google Slides, etc. Finally, for interaction and feedback, we could use Padlet virtual or a virtual classroom. And question three, the activity would be evaluated by a quiz, like filling in the blanks with correct preference verbs or identifying the meaning of key vocabulary, and also evaluating the student's presentation, taking into account the pronunciation and grammar.
Thank you. The first minority activity I will suggest regarding the use on the topic of the class. What do you like is an activity on a topic of interest the student. For example, at home they make a short video about what they like to do in their free time. I think that through this exercise, new vocabulary is learning and listening, speaking, reading, and writing are encouraged. A tool or resource and little thoughts will be chosen by the student as is will be an individual activity, but I will suggest the following for vocabulary. English vocabulary will learn at classify the word by category, voice translator the word in English and Spanish, and you can listen to the pronunciation. Lucia, transcribe your voice. It is functional because through this your night if your pronunciation correctly. For video airing, in short, Canva, CapCut, the street tool after basic and advanced tool through that you can add subtitle, image and audio. Third, I think this activity will have a significant impact on students because it will promote autonomous and individual learning. Through digital tools, the student will investigate, share for vocabulary, develop a skill, and also learn to use earning tools. Thank you.
Based on the educational problem we analyzed, I propose the English Blog Challenge. In this activity, students record short videos in English talking about personal or interesting topics. It helps them practice the language in a natural way, gain confidence, and reduce shyness because they can express themselves in a fun and comfortable environment. We will use tools like Flip, Canva Video, or CapCut to record and edit videos. Duolingo or Elsa Speak to practice pronunciation, and Padlet or Google Classroom to share the blogs and give feedback. These tools make learning more dynamic and keep students motivated to practice. I will evaluate it with oral rubrics, self-evaluations, and surveys. This helps measure progress in fluency, pronunciation, and confidence by comparing the first and last videos. If students feel more confident and enjoy speaking English, then the activity is successful.
Bueno, I propose a digital English escape room activity where students must solve clues related to vocabulary, grammar, and speaking in order to escape a virtual scenario. This activity combines collaboration, critical thinking, and language practice in a playful environment. The second, I will use tools like Google Forms for clues and response, Handboard or Miro for interactive boards map, and video calls via Zoom or Microsoft Teams for real-time team communication. The next, I will evaluate by administering a self-reflection survey before and after to measure confidence in using English. Compare the results of the clue solving with the expected language outcomes and gather students' feedback on motivation and engagement. Thank you.
¿Ya paraste la grabación?
Listo, chicas, creo que todas ya terminamos, ¿sí?
Ok.
Listo, chicas, entonces con estas preguntas terminamos la reducción, la clase. Muchas gracias por su atención. Goodbye, thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Bye.